What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be overhauling the ignition system on Project MR2. We're also going to be looking at our new exhaust, and after we've gone through it all, tested everything and fitted everything, we're going to be getting the car running again and hopefully sounding a little bit better than last time. Because that was the first time it ran in over 12 years. Let's go and take a look. Let's start with the exhaust and the rear panel delete. Mixed reviews on Instagram and Facebook last week, but tell me your thoughts. It was rusty. Cut it out. You can see more of the exhaust now. Yeah, I had no choice. It was rusty. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Anyway, exhaust. There was meant to be 4 captive nuts for our brackets on the chassis legs. There wasn't. I had 1 captive nut that lined up, and then the other 3 just didn't exist. So I had to drill holes through and then weld nuts on. Let's pop underneath and let's have a little look. Now, this one under here went in lovely. This one, there was no hole. So I had to weld a nut on. And also, whilst the heat shield was off, I managed to give it a good old paint up and refitted it. And then I had to cut the lip off of it because it was down here. So you can see more exhaust, bro. Now then, up underneath here, it was the same story. This mount didn't fit onto the exhaust, probably because the exhaust was cheap, but that's my problem. Nut on there, nut on there. This one needed cutting off and then reforming and re-welding, and that went round onto the existing pipe. But we have a new exhaust, and hopefully it should sound pretty nice. A lot more civilised than last time anyway. The next thing we're going to remove are the 4 spark plugs, HT leads, distributor cap and rotor arm. We can then take them over to the bench and test them. Now, you can label them up if you want to, but there will be pictures in this video that will help you to reassemble it. So for that reason, I am just going to remove everything off the job and then take it over to the bench. Well, that will come apart nice and easily. 2 8mm bolts on the back of the distributor cap, and that came off nice and easily. Plugs weren't too tight either. However, condition wise, they're old, because we know they're at least 12 years old. They're fouled up, they're very black and sooty, but that's not really indicative of the way the car had been running, because it's only run for about 5 minutes in the last 12 years, so we can pretty much disregard those. But there is a lot of info online on what colour your spark plug should be if your car is running correctly or not. It is also worth noting that in the Haynes manual it states that the manufacturers recommend plugs every 60,000 miles. However, Haynes themselves don't believe this is frequent enough and recommend him replacing them every single year, regardless of mileage and condition. So therefore these are at least 12 years out of date. So they can go in the bin. Now then, our new spark plugs. If we reference our manual, we have got the electrode gap for brand new spark plugs, 1.1 millimeters or 44 thousandths of an inch. Now these are pre-gapped, but I have feeler gauges. I have the ability to check and adjust if I want to. So I will. 30 thou there, plus a 14 there. That gives us 44 thousandths of an inch, which is our 1.1 millimeters. We'll just check one. In all fairness, that is quite nice. There's a little bit of drag there. Not so much that it's sloppy and not so much that you can't get it in. So that is 1.1 millimeters. Recheck the other three and then they're ready to go back on the car. And when we fit them in a second, we'll torque them up correctly too. Now then, let's move on to cap and leads. First of all, overall internal condition versus the new one. Inside of our new one we have 4 lovely tips, which is great. And on our old one we have 2 ropey looking pitted and corroded tips and 2 that don't exist anymore. I'm starting to see why maybe the car wasn't running so well, because as our rotor arm spins round, we've got the correct clearance and a good spark here and here. Massive gap, here, here, massive. So hopefully this could be part of our problem. Now then, we can also test the resistance of these. So let's grab our multimeter and have a little look. Testing resistance of leads, regardless of the resistance, these are going to be replaced because they were quite reasonable, but we'll talk prices at the end. Now the maximum resistance we are allowed between the point inside of the distributor cap and the end of the corresponding lead is 25,000 ohms or 25 kilo ohms. Now then, let's test one of them. Let's test this one because it's easiest. So we've got that one in the bottom corner, so we're going to go with our multimeter in here and then we're going to try and get up inside of there. So that's 11.78 kilo ohms. So that is within spec. Now then, the next one is this one here. 8.45 kilo ohms, which again is within tolerance. The next one, the one that's worn away, 13.28 kilo ohms. So again, within tolerance, but you can't make up for the fact that the posts inside have been completely destroyed. Now then, the last one. 14.39 kilo ohms. So a variance between all of them, which is probably to be expected. Now then, what we're going to do is we'll pop the new leads on the new cap and then we will retest and see if those values either increase, reduce, or at least align so that they're all closer to one another. Let's do that now. Right, that's them fitted. Now, sorry they're not red, guys. It hurts me as much as it hurts you to see not cool looking red HD leads on your Mark 1 MR2. Now also, these 4 are all slightly longer than one another. So you've got number 1, 2, 3 and 4. So obviously line them up and see which one is which. Now on top of your cap, we've got the firing order 1, 3, 4, 2, which is exactly the same as the original. Imagine this is on the back of the engine, so you're looking down on it, 1, 3, 4, 2, as it turns round like this, and then you've got pistons 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 1 goes to here, 3 goes to 3, 4 goes to 4, and 2 goes to 2. 1, 3, 4, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now then, let's do a little bit of testing and see if anything has changed. Now obviously the leads are going to be varying lengths, so that may affect the resistance ever so slightly, but we will see. 8.8 kiloohms, which is lower, because obviously the lower the resistance, the better the spark is going to travel. So that's positive, that's good. Now then, let's have a little look at this one. 9.8. So that is a lot closer to the first one, which is nice. And 9.69, which is also nice. And the last one, 8.9. So as you can see, all of the readings are a lot closer together now. The resistances are give or take the same, which is very good. Now then, rotor arm wise is obviously a lot more intact, which is good. That one will just push on. Distributor cap only goes on one way because of the offset holes in it. We have got somewhere 2 new bolts to go in there, so that one can go on the job. But first of all, let's fit some spark plugs. Spark plug installation. I've said it in other videos before, but I will say it again. Spark plug socket has generally got a rubber boot inside of it. If you put the spark plug in, it won't fall out, and then you tighten it into the head and you pull it out and the rubber boot stays on the spark plug. Remove the rubber boot so that it falls out nice and easily. Grab yourself a magnetic pen and then simply pop the spark plug into the hole in the head. Remove your magnetic pen and then you can get on top of the spark plug. Tighten it up by hand, and then we grab our torque wrench. 18 Newton meters, 13 foot-pounds, which I can assure you is not very much. And you'll think that you're not putting enough torque into it and you're going to want to go and get something else and really lean on it, but you just don't need to. Job done. Now I'm literally putting nothing on that at all, because 18 Newton meters really is nothing, but like I say, I can't stress it enough, the torque is there for a reason. So we'll do the other 3, then we'll pop the distributor cap and rotor arm, make our leads look pretty, pop our lead on the coil over here as well, and then we'll be somewhere near it. This is all looking very positive all of a sudden. Little bit hit and miss, few things to iron out. Initially, alternator was not charging. I had like 12 volts. Then all of a sudden I got about 13. And then towards the end, I was at 14-ish. So I'm happy. Also, there was a noise in the alternator water pump area, and I thought, oh, please don't be a water pump. And that ironed itself out. I've got a bit of an exhaust leak to fix, but yeah, minor, that's easy. But very good. Very, very good. Very positive. If I had a hub on that car and some suspension, I would be going for a drive. So I think that is what we're going to be doing in our next episode. Also, guys, this is my first Mark 1. There are a few things that I don't really get at the moment. I haven't researched at all. The cold start. It won't start unless you apply a little bit of throttle pedal. Cold start, injector, power to it. When should it have power to it? I'll have a little look into it, but if anybody is well up on these, drop me a message in the comment section, pretty please, because that would help. What else did we have? Idle. Initially, cold start, with that injector potentially not working, it was at 600 RPM. Then it steadied out at 800 RPM beautifully. Then as soon as it got hot, it went up to kind of 1200 RPM. Doesn't hunt, doesn't miss, it's lovely, but yeah, there's a little bit of something going on there. And then, also, which is massive, no coolant leaks. And then towards probably about 5-10 minutes in, temperature gauge crept up to just below half. Thermostat opened, all the hoses got lovely and hot. The rad was hot. Massive, 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 massive. Where are we going to go next? We're going to go for a drive. That will be in a few days' time. That will be a massive achievement as well. And I got a little bit of radiator flush as well because this thing's not had coolant in 12 years. So we're gonna do a coolant flush as well and then go through the process of bleeding the coolant because I believe it's a bit of a rigmarole. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from the build that is getting ever so close to that MOT. I got a feeling this one's gonna be right down to the line. It's going to be just finished and then Healy comes back. It's going to be very tight, but that makes it exciting for me and stressful, but it also makes it more fun for you guys. Have a wonderful couple of days. Driving soon. I never thought we'd get this far. See you soon. So maybe we'll do a cold start later. Oh, another spider! You! They're everywhere! Crikey. That one's not quite as big, but still.